everybody. Welcome to the ToneTone podcast. My name is Tony, and today I have a guest who has been a long friend of mine, an old friend. He's super old. He's like a really old guy. He wears glasses sometimes. He's super old, and he's got dad jokes. And oh man, he's just so old. His name is Ryan Murray.
What? I'm sorry. Can you speak up? I can't hear you. I don't think I put my hearing aid in.
I don't know why I went off with that. I was just like, oh, my old friend, he's a great friend of mine. Oh, he's got like he's had 7 knee surgeries, and he sat on his glasses once.
It was literally when you said that, I was about to say, "Are you calling me old?" And then I was like, "Oh, you are. You are actually calling me old. All right, great."
He's not old. I'm just being an
I feel
ass.
great about myself now. I'm in a great
know you're
mindset
not.
to do a podcast.
He's not, he's really young. He's very talented. If you guys don't already know, I will be linking his stuff below. He is someone that I think a lot of us should be paying attention to and be watching his streams, because I there's not many people that stream on Twitch that are genuinely passionate about it and care about not only the art of streaming, but communicating and getting to know deeply their audience and caring about them. Because I think a lot of people will either get really into their stream and like go full throttle, and here's my Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and bam bam, go watch my stuff because I'm great. Or they get really into the communities and making all this great hangout stuff, but then their like streams are not as high tier. So that's like where I'm at, where like I'm really like connected to my people, but my streams are okay. And that's why I look up to Ryan so much, is because he's got that huge beautiful heart and then huge beautiful talent when he streams, and I gosh dang wish more streamers were like him.
Okay, you didn't tell me that I was gonna just get complimented. I, you didn't prepare me.
I didn't. I just felt it on my heart.
And also, your streams are great. Don't talk yourself down. I will promote you to the ends of the earth
Damn it,
if I
Ryan.
have to.
For those of you that don't know, I guess we try to like get ready for this podcast, and I was like, Ryan, I have a couple things we could talk about, but let's just keep it chill. But now my brain is like exploding with ideas out of nowhere. So thanks, brain.
Just do it. Follow your brain.
Follow my brain, dude. Follow your dreams is an old statement.
Big-
We should just follow our
brain.
brains.
Especially if you're like Tony and you have such a big brain.
Yeah, huh?
Not follow that kind of brain.
Yeah, yeah. Big brain, small capacity. It's like just one little voice in the brain going, "Hey, you should do this, maybe. I don't know if you could do that. That'd be great." And that's
That sounds just like my brain.
like I'm just sitting in bed, and it's like, "Hey, maybe you should talk to Amanda and say goodnight or something, before you pass out." And I'm like, "What? What was that?" "Oh, nothing. It's not important. It's fine."
Okay, but that actually feels helpful. I'll just be like laying in bed. It's like, hey, maybe you should tear down your entire desk and office and rearrange it in the middle of the night for literally no good reason. Also, you can't sleep until you do it. Oh, okay.
So you're like a redecorator?
Just with with this setup, like I feel like it's always been a joke on the stream that like every 3 or 4 streams, they'll be like, hey, you changed it again. I'm like, yeah, they're like, did you not like it? I'm like, no, I just needed to.
I just
Like,
felt
you
like we
guys
should
know-
do this thing.
You're like, you changed your profile picture. Is something wrong? I'm like, no, I just had to change it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's what I felt so. I was like a little bit worried because Ryan and I talk so often, so I see his profile picture a lot. And he changed it to his beautiful self playing the piano and stuff. And now he's back to him like doing like a funny smirk. And I'm like, why did he change it? Like, is he not confident with his piano skills? Do I have to like, amp him up with niceties and stuff that he's being dumb again? No, he's just liking the change. And I appreciate that, because I'm like that. But then I feel bad. I'm like, no, consistency's nice. I probably shouldn't, even if I do get bored of this profile picture after 3 days.
Yeah, literally the only reason I changed it was because obviously Discord has a dark background, and I felt like my profile picture was kind of dark, and I was like, this isn't pretty for me to look at. I will change it to a brighter image
Oh my God.
because I want it to look prettier when I look at Discord. There's no very good reason for it at all. That picture's like a year and a half old.
It is a good picture though. It does stand out. So
I
you're
do like
right.
that.
Yeah, well, we'll see how long it lasts.
Probably like 3 days.
Like 3 days. So okay, let me tell you guys. Okay, so for those of you that are new or whatever, so my name's Tony. This is Ryan. When I was a like sophomore or junior in high school, I got interested in like streaming because I wanted to play games and people to watch me play games. Because when my friends would come over and I'd be like, "Hey, look at this game I'm playing," they'd be like, "Yeah, can we like just play like Monopoly or Smash or something? I don't want to watch you play a game." I'm like, "Yeah, it's fair." I'm like, I just want to like enjoy a game with friends over, or like I play a game, they watch and like commentate, and we like share an adventure. But they never wanted to do that. They wanted to get hands on with the game, which is totally understandable. I would probably feel the same. So I was like, well, then what could I do? And I saw that there was a Facebook Live thing where you could like live stream your computer or your camera or whatever. And I was like, ooh, I could like stream Fortnite, or I could stream League or Hearthstone. Like that'd be fun. And so I got into that, and I was doing it for a while, and then I got onto Twitch because a YouTuber guy that I liked started streaming, and I was there for a couple years or so, very casually. I never streamed on Twitch, but I streamed on Facebook constantly. And then randomly one night, I was like, "Oh man, I love Hearthstone. I wonder what it'd be like to like watch a Hearthstone stream. I've never really watched one before." And so it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was looking through the Hearthstone viewer or streams, and there were multiple, and I would go into certain ones where it would be like some dude with his headset on, like a dirty white shirt, and I was like, oh okay, and then he'd be like, yeah man, f this, is stupid effing bitch, so like really dirty, like talking and like kind of rude, and then I would like type hello in the chat, and no one would acknowledge me, and I was like, this kind of sucks. Like maybe this was a bad idea. But then randomly, I just happened to find a nice stream with a lady named Kidum or Emily, and she was playing Hearthstone, and she had a nice like a granny like green soft chair, and she
Oh my
had
gosh.
cats and all this kind of stuff. And she's not like 80 years old, okay? She's like in her 20s or like early 30s. I would probably
Like,
say probably mid 20s.
but I'd say that like if she had to have a spirit animal, it'd be a grandma.
Yeah, definitely. Like she screams hip grandma, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. She's just so sweet and so kind, but then also like is endearing because sometimes she's like, "What's that game thing you're talking about? Discord? Why are we having a fight? Are we having a fight? We're having a discourse? No, talking about Discord, Emily. Anyway, um, so I went into the stream and I was like, "Oh, she seems really nice." And then I typed in the chat, and Ryan and Mike and Goldfish and them all saying hello and being nice. And I hung out there, and then she's like, "Oh, do you stream?" And I was like, "Yeah, kinda, but not really." She's like, "Oh, you should stream after I'm done, and we can all go hang out." And I was like, "Ugh, these are new people.
Ugh.
They're probably gonna be like, oh, that was great. After 5 minutes of watching me, they'll be like, oh, you're such a good streamer. Okay, bye." Or make it feel awkward for them. But she was just so kind, and Ryan was so kind, and I was like, fine, I'll do it. And then we had a great time, and here I am, 2.5 years later, loving streaming, loving life. And Ryan is pretty similar. Is he loved playing games, and he wanted to stream and things. So he started playing like not Minecraft, gosh, Hearthstone and Spider-Man and Pokemon Soul Silver, and then randomly he just started playing ukulele one day, and we were like, "Damn, Ryan's got a really good voice, and he's got a really good ear for playing music and just singing and stuff." And so we were like, "Ryan, you should like do music or something." And you're like, "Yeah, I mean, it's fine."
Okay, sure.
And then
I
here he is
guess.
later with over 1,000 followers and this really nice freaking stream, and he sings like an angel, singing all these damn songs and playing piano and doing effects and stuff. Man, it's so freaking cool. Just seeing somebody cool do more cool things. I don't know. I like it. It's nice.
It's funny that we had the exact same start to streaming because mine was I was like, oh, I want to play a game that I can like hang out with people. I guess I'll try to learn Hearthstone. That feels pretty chill. I'll go watch some Hearthstone streamers, and I was just like watching people for like a couple weeks. I happened upon Kiddom's stream, and then she said the same thing. She's like, "Well, do you stream?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm thinking about doing my first one tomorrow, but I don't know. I've never really done it before, so who knows?" She's like, "You should do it. We'll all go watch. Everybody, let's go watch." And then like they all came. It wasn't even a raid. Like they came the next day in like the middle of the day. It's like watch. I had like 5 or 6 people. I'm like,
Wow.
uh,
That's a
hello.
lot for new streamers. Five
Yeah,
people,
it's like,
dude. That's like
all
having
right.
5,000 people watch you.
It's like you're trying to have like 5 different conversations at once. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
so overwhelmed. Yeah, and then yeah, I just kept streaming games because I like playing games, and then I was like, oh, I want to do something nice for people who like come raid the stream. Oh, I have this little ukulele, I can like play songs to say thank you, and then you guys are like, just do a whole stream of that. I'm like, a whole stream of music on a gaming site? Okay. And I've never turned back. I think I've done one gaming stream in like the year and a half since that happened.
Damn.
Hmm.
I'm just.
Fun fact also, I actually I don't know about you, but for me, you were the first person that I met like in real life from Twitch and the online world too. We got Chick-fil-A together.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's
He was in
great.
California visiting because he lives outside of California, and um, it was he was just like, hey, you want to like get Chick-fil-A while I'm here? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
but you should tell the story. Okay, so when when I was thinking about your wife and us meeting in Chick-fil-A, how did that happen with you again? Meeting your wife?
Well, there's one thing that you everyone needs to know about me is that I'm very particular with how I like my food.
I thought you were gonna say your
And
women. I was like, whoa, whoa.
we're
I'm
so
very particular in my women choices. Chick-fil-A is
no
always my choice, but
in my food, I for the longest time I only get like a burger and pickles or like a chicken sandwich and pickles. And everyone would always make fun of me because it was such a weird order. And then besides that, everywhere I went to would always mess up the order because apparently that's just the most complicated thing. Like I don't understand it. But so my friend took me to Chick-fil-A um, and walked in like, okay, what do I want? And I looked I'm like, wait, is their main thing just a chicken sandwich with pickles? They're like, yeah, that's what Chick-fil-A does. I'm like, I found my new home. And
yes.
then I walked up
Welcome
to the
home.
register, and this cute girl was like, "Oh, what do you want to order?" I'm like, "Oh, the one with just pickles on it." She's like, "All right, like the number one." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Cool," and then she took my order, and then I remember I was with my friend, and he's like, "Oh yeah, she goes to like the same school as us because it was like down the street from our college." I was like, "Oh, that's so crazy. I feel like this like everyone around here like goes to our school." Um, and then I thought she was cool, and I also thought Chick-fil-A was really cool. So like, I guess I'll just keep coming here for food. And so I just came to Chick-fil-A like every day or every other day for like 6 months, and it got to the point where we finally became friends. I became friends with the girl at the register, and we started hanging out, and then I'd figure out like when her shifts were. Because I also remember that's the other thing. The very first time I came, my friends and I have this inside joke from a film that we made where we just look at each other. We're like, "You're perfect," because it was just like this random lines like that we had in a film. It made no sense, but that was like our thing. We just tell everyone that they're perfect, and so it just became like a second nature thing. So when I finished my order, I'm like, "Thanks, you're perfect," and I just kept walking. And she's like,
That's how you freaking Like, hi, nice to meet you. You're perfect.
Perfect. I mean, I wasn't wrong. Just saying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but later when we like started to hang out more, she was telling me that she had a really bad day that day, just with like some drama at work, and that this, me coming in and telling her that she was perfect, she's like, that was the first nice thing that anybody said to me that day, and it like totally made my day. And I remember my first thought was, man, if that's all I have to do to make her day, I feel like it'd be a crime for me not to come in every single day.
And just say
And
you're perfect.
so I just came in every single day. And I like, it got to the point where I would, when she had closing shifts, like I would help her clean everything so she could get off early so we could go hang out and everything. And then we, now we're married.
Yeah, me. Did you guys have like Chick-fil-A sandwiches at the wedding and stuff?
Actually, Chick-fil-A did cater our wedding. Yeah. We
Yes. Amanda, take
we
notes.
we talked to a Chick-fil-A like nearby the place, and we told them our story, and they thought it was really cute, so they gave us like half off of their catering because they thought our story
That's
was cute and
Chick-fil-A.
had a Chick-fil-A. And it's like,
That's Chick-fil-A.
yes. It was already cheaper than any other option, and you just half the price.
I know.
And also, it's so perfect.
Just like, I feel like that would be the perfect catering. Now, Amanda's next to me, and because she doesn't have like a separate microphone, we can't have a full conversation about this. But I think it would be a great idea to have Chick-fil-A cater because, and here's my argument here. With most foods at weddings, you gotta like sit down, you gotta have the plate, you gotta have the fork and the knife and the spoon and the napkin, and you gotta ooh ha ha, how's your day? How blah blah. But with Chick-fil-A, listen to me here. With Chick-fil-A, you just pick up a sandwich, you take it out of the bag, and you just eat it as you're walking around and talking. So you're just like, oh man, Joe, that's great. Hey Bob, how's the wife? You just bopping around with the sandwich in your hand instead of having to sit down at stupid tables. More talking, more fun, more happiness.
Plus, they give you little stuffed animal cows
They do.
that say "just married" on them.
They give us stuffed cows that say "just married" on them. Yeah.
I think we still have them somewhere.
Amanda says we're doing it, and now it's on record. We're doing it.
Good. It's on record. You can't say no now.
Yeah. Sponsor us, Chick-fil-A. Anyway. Anyway. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is games, because we are at the center of our being gamers here on this community and on this friendship. We are gamers. So
We played
Ryan,
games right before this podcast.
yeah, we actually did. We got to hang out and play some League, and it was so funny because Ryan's like, "Oh man, I feel so old. I don't know any of the champions." Goes like 9-3 as Renekton and like takes everybody out, and I'm like, "Oh, it's okay. I'll show you, Grandpa, how you do it." And I go like 4-20 as Fiddlesticks, and it was awful. Anyway,
It was a weird game.
it was a weird game. But let's talk about games that are not toxic and exhausting. Let's talk about some chill games. So Ryan, go ahead and tell us your top 3 favorite chill games.
Top 3 chill games. Okay. Number 1, I'd probably have to say, is the new Spider-Man that's on PS4.
Mm.
Because like, there's just something about, I don't even want to do like any of the missions. I literally just want to swing around the city. Like I have no objective, no plan. I just want to sit down and I want to swing and just feel like I'm a superhero. Feel like I'm Spider-Man. And it's the most relaxing thing ever. Especially, when you like get to a really high building and then you like jump off and you like let yourself fall almost all the way to the ground. You just whoosh.
It's so satisfying.
It's so satisfying.
I forgot that. I played it as well when it came out. Everybody was hype about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
so good.
I was even like avoiding your streams because I was afraid of spoilers. Just like, I want to watch him play it so bad, but I know I'm gonna see something because he's ahead of me. Because he's got like the green spider suit, and I don't know how we got that. Dang it.
We definitely did beat the whole game on stream, so there would have been spoilers. Let's see. Besides that, I haven't played it in a little while, but I would actually have to say Stardew Valley, I think, because that was another one. Like, I would just lay in bed. I'm like, I'm just farming and fishing. Like, this is the life. I think because there's also part of me that just wants to like leave everything and go live in the woods. You
Yeah.
know, that just sounds nice. And I'm like, this is like my way of doing that, but without abandoning all of my social responsibilities.
Yeah, and then there's like a small little community of like really kind but interesting people.
Yeah, I feel like I've never seen. I guess I haven't really watched a lot of Stardew Valley content, but like, how can you like rage and be toxic at that game?
Yeah.
Like,
Or
you're just,
maybe you can rage when like your crops die or something and they like
oh
take forever.
no,
You know,
and then
something
you
like
just
that.
bring more crops.
Yeah.
Just chill, just hang
Yeah,
out.
it's pretty chill. Except the
And then
fishing.
I have one more. That's probably my most chill game. That I don't think you'll think is a chill game. I don't think anybody will may think this is a chill game, but this is how I relax. I will come home after a long day. I'll just play some Grand Theft Auto on my PlayStation. This is the most relaxing thing in the
Grand
world.
Theft Auto?
And my
That's like
reasoning
the
is
most aggressive and like chaotic game that I could ever think of. Like when you think about, oh, what is this game? Oh, it's like the Grand Theft Auto of the series. It's like nuts and super bad and like crazy. That's how
but
you relax?
I think it's because I don't play Grand Theft Auto like you're supposed to play Grand Theft Auto. Literally, all I do is like, I'm like driving home from work, been stuck in traffic all day. All I
Mm,
want to do is I just want to get in my pickup truck and I want to drive 130 miles an hour like down the coast and like
mm.
just drive. Literally, all I do is I just drive. I just drive full speed, just weaving around, just driving up the mountains,
That
looking at
does
the
sound
pretty views.
nice.
Like I'm not, going around like of course, like I'll maybe have like my fun where I'll like put on some like 80s music and I'll just have a giant cop chase. Like I feel like I'm Baby Driver or something. But most of the time, literally all I do is like I've just been stuck in traffic all day, like bumper to bumper. I'm so
Yeah.
frustrated. But instead of like trying to take that out and like drive like a maniac in real life where it's dangerous,
Mm.
I just drive really fast and free in Grand Theft Auto, and suddenly all my worries just slip away. As I'm just driving, I'll just like put on the cinematic view. I'll just watch my car like from the aerial view as I'm just driving alone on this highway with the sunset on my left and the mountains on my right. I'm like, this is all I wanted.
That's what I loved about doing the road trip a while ago with Amanda and I. We went to Oregon. I think it was like early June, and yeah, it was really similar. Like I was scared because I had never driven like over 4 or 5 hours all by myself. Um, but I drove 12 hours straight. We maybe had like
Nice.
1 or 2 5-minute breaks for bathroom or re getting gas and stuff. But it was just so nice. Like we left at like 4 a.m. and so we got through the Grapevine and out of that area into like rural Northern California and stuff. Probably around like 5 a.m. and stuff, and it was just like the sky was so pretty and the clouds were so nice, and just driving, listening to like classic rock and listening to um, I have a playlist on Spotify called Yeah, Comma Man, which means any song that comes on the playlist, you go yeah, man. Every
Yeah.
song. So like it had the Pirates of the Caribbean ride music. It had It's a Small World, where it's just like goofy and fun. But then it had like Panama, and they had a lot of like Beach Boys music. It's just so nice. Anyway,
Hmm.
so I totally understand what you're saying with just like sitting back, putting your thumb and your pinky on the steering wheel at the top of it, and just leaning
Cruise
back and
control. Just
cruising.
yeah. So like I said, I don't think I play Grand Theft Auto like you're supposed to, but and I'll play online because I have a character that like looks like me and stuff. But
Mhm.
I'll set it up so I just play a solo session so there's no one else there. So I'm just like online but by myself and just driving.
That's so
It's just a
nice.
driving simulator.
Yeah, I think they have stuff like that. I've seen Dab. He's like an old friend of the stream. He tried streaming what is it? Truck simulator, truck driving simulator, where you're like a
Oh
truck
yeah.
driver and your goal is to drive a certain amount of time.
Mhm.
So you actually like live through the pickup and the drop off and all that kind of stuff. and it's really relaxing.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand games like that.
Yeah, but what are mine?
So yeah, what are your relaxing games? You had a
Um,
hard at work or school, and you're like, I just need to just chill out, calm down.
yeah, if I'm feeling really stressed, my go-to right now is Breath of the Wild for sure. Um, just getting that option to be like, hey, you're gonna start up this game, and you can do literally so many things, and you can do whatever you want. No one will judge you. No one will yell at you. No one will, comment on your decisions. Like, oh, I wouldn't do that, but that's nice. That's nice that you're doing that. I'm like, nah, 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 none of that.
Mhm.
This is time that I pick up stick and then I whack pig red boy on his head and go bonk, and then he die, and I laugh. That's my happiness. Plus the music. People crap on the music a lot because it's like and then that's like the soundtrack. Like it's just random like piano notes, but it's just perfect to me. It's just serene, and it's semi atonal kind of stuff, but it's perfect. I
I
love
just
it.
want to. How did you manage to play the actual soundtrack just then? That's so crazy. This is a high quality podcast.
I hate
Wow.
you. I hate you. I'm just. We're moving on. Next game.
You think you can call me an old man dad and then not expect me to make old man dad jokes?
What was the one that we made right before we were doing the? Never mind. So the next game, um, is definitely Animal Crossing. I've played most of them. My first one ever that I played was City Folk for the Wii, and then I played Wild World on the DS, and I played New Leaf a bunch, probably the most. And then I played, of course, New Horizons so much that I got burnt out of it. Um, but I think my favorite was New Leaf. I just loved the jazz that it had at nighttime, all the nighttime songs, because I'm a night owl, and so I would be up till like 2 or 3 just catching fish and bugs and stuff, and just planting like flowers and talking to people, and it was nice. Um, yeah, and that music and all that stuff was just wonderful. Um, what else? What's my last one? Um, what do you think, Amanda? What's a game that I play a lot? I said Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing. What?
Tip of my tongue, I can't think.
Oh wait, I know. Pokemon.
Yep, that's what.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I love most Pokemon games. There are some that I don't like, and some that I choose to never like, out of just old man being, the old way is better, stupid new way, no good, kind of stupid thoughts. If that makes sense. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Wait, which one do you choose not to like?
Black and White 2 and all that. The like 2 of 2s and the Ultra
Oh, I
Sun and
don't think
Ultra
I made it
Moon
that
kind of
far.
stuff.
Yeah, I feel like Gen 1, Gen 2, solid gold. Gen 3, also like runner up solid gold. And then Gen 4 was like pretty cool. And then Gen 5 was, I'm like, oh, there's too many. Can't keep up
5 of
anymore.
these? Oh my god.
She's like, there's just too many Pokemon. Just like you made a chandelier and an ice cream cone.
That's
Those are
right.
not Pokemon.
You made a ghost sandcastle, and you made a trash bag as a Pokemon. Like, all right, we get
All
it.
right,
You're running low on
ran out of
ideas.
ideas. I get it. But literally the only reason why I got I think it was it Sun and Moon that was the Aloha whatever
Alolan,
whatever.
yeah.
I think literally the only reason I got it was because my dad lives in Hawaii. So I'm like, hey, Hawaii. And because of the blue Vulpix, which is the Pokemon that
Yeah.
I would want with me at all times. And I was like, all right, you've got me. And then I started to play the game. I'm like, all right, you've lost me.
Like you had me and you lost it immediately. That's how I felt
Yeah.
about it too. I played it for a while and then I was like,
I think
nah.
I'd be one of they're not even gyms. They're like I don't even know what they're
Like
called.
you like win against your friend or something.
Yeah, I was like, this is not
Like
Pokemon.
like this is more on like Kingdom Hearts level, dude. Like why is it becoming Kingdom Hearts? Do you know that whole thing
Yeah,
with Kingdom Hearts?
I played like half of the first one.
It's just it's basically like the Kingdom Hearts like structure of the story is kind of like, oh no, we're gonna lose our friendship. What are we gonna do? We'll be friends forever. No, forget. I will never forget you. And it's like that. Friends forever. I'm gonna attack you because you're going against my friends. And it's all
I have a
like that.
key for a sword.
Yeah, I have a key for a sword. And I'm gonna beat you up because I'm not your friend and you being mean to my friends. And
Yeah,
what's
that
more
sounds about
important? Friendship. All that kind of
yeah. That's exactly how I remember Kingdom Hearts.
stuff. But no, my favorite Pokemon ever has got to be Sapphire. I've said it a couple times, and I think definitely it's
Mhm.
that one. I loved finding the cartridge in my collection or in a drawer because it's just like the beautiful like sapphire blue that would be like shiny, and I'd be like, oh, "This is so cool." And I'd pick it up and just like look at it for a while, and then putting it in my SP and popping it on and seeing Kyogre glowing in the deep dark sea, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be great, and just vibing out to like it's the reason I didn't like the Gen 5 Pokemon game, which is called Pokemon White and Black. I didn't like them because it was a lot more city than I like.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really like a fan of the city life, the city vibe. I'm more of like the countryside or like, Oregon where there's trees and there's little like houses near the woods and there's like a nice little lake and stuff. Like that kind of stuff. And that's what Ruby and Sapphire had a lot of that. A lot of like oceans and forests you're going through or like nice little towns near a forest or there's a lot more nature than I liked. Yeah, those are definitely my three relaxing games. What soundtrack do you usually find yourself listening to when you have a chance? You're like, I just want to listen to some good video game music.
Mm. Oh man. I mean, Spider-Man was pretty great.
Mm,
And I don't know how much I've listened to it on its own, but I loved it in the game because they programmed it or whatever so perfectly so that the music would always swell as you're swinging down. Like as you gain momentum in the air and everything, you start to swing. Like the
yeah.
music like all swells up, and then when you like reach like the top and you're just like floating in there, like the music like cuts out again, and it just absolutely made the experience like just so much better.
Hmm.
I think I don't listen to too many video game soundtracks, but Pokemon is definitely one of them that like it just I don't know how they do it. It's like
I
so
don't know,
repetitive,
man.
but it never gets old. Like I'll just listen, I'll just sit there and just vibing, like lavender or something weird. Like
Lavender
yeah,
Town memes, man. Those are don't ever look those up, guys. I promise. Don't look up Stinky. Stinky Lavender Town meme. Don't look that up.
you realize that literally everyone who listens to this is gonna look that up now.
Don't look it up. I'm
That's
serious.
how they
Don't.
look it up. That's how they're gonna do the opposite.
Nope. Okay,
That's how
then definitely look it up as soon as you get a
100%.
chance. Just make sure that you don't end your life before you watch it.
Yeah, there you go. Got him.
My friend, the reason why I tell you, my lovely friends, to not watch this stupid meme is because my roommate in college, he is the most like weird meme lord. I don't get him. But it was like 2 a.m. and we had just finished up playing Borderlands for like 7 hours together. And so I'm already delirious from staring at a screen for so long and shooting so many goofy things and being dumb in Borderlands. And so I'm like ready for bed. It's 2 a.m. I'm like, and then he's like, I just hear from his bed, I hear, oh, stinky, oh, stinky. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And he's like, look it up on your phone. And I look it up on my phone and I said, Alex, this is the worst thing I've ever had my eyes lay upon and my ears experience. This makes me genuinely upset. And he just laughed his ass off while I didn't sleep for another hour because I kept singing in my head, "Uh oh, stinky," over and over. and he proceeded for that to be his favorite meme forever. So anytime you want to make Alex laugh, not honest Alexander, my roommate Alex, if you ever want to make him laugh, just go like oh stinky to something, and he'll just like oh stinky.
Or if we ever want to make you cry, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, or you want me to cry and be very angry and storm off and put my head through the door.
You've given us immense power. No real sense of checks and balances. I don't think you realize what you
I can
just
I can just time you out in chat if you try to do that in my stream. I'll just time you out, and if I see you do it again, you're banned for life.
just ban. It's
You're banned for life. No stinky in my streams.
Everybody better take a shower before they come to my stream.
Everybody better take a shower before my streams. Write it down, boys. You better do it. Anyway, so the last thing is I wanted to touch on a thing that Ryan and I have been talking about casually, and we'll see if we want to go really depth into it today or not. We'll feel for it. But Ryan and I have been talking about this concept of taking opinions in life, or like forming your own opinions in life is a very difficult thing. You're probably already thinking, "Whoa, that's a really huge shift from talking about stinky." Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But that's just what we were thinking about, because I think we're all in like a crazy time right now, right? And we're consuming so much media, whether that's Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or YouTube or Twitch or whatever. And so everybody has their opinions, and so you may be thinking to yourself, well, how do I formulate my own? Or, should I be more aware of what I'm formulating my opinion with? Or should I just go with the flow, go with what my gut's telling me, and just kind of whatever with it? And I've talked to people in my life who are very confident with their opinions and back it up with a lot of factual information, but the factual information is very biased to their arguments, and it's hard to have a conversation with them because it's a lot of like, well, you think you're wrong, well, here's this article about this thing, or you think you're wrong, well, here's this famous person that said this. Can't argue with that, can you? I'm like, not really, but also we should see the other side of this argument. And I think that's where Ryan and I are at, is we've been like saying, should I go onto one side or the other side? But we mostly find ourselves in the middle because we see a good to each side and a bad to each side. And it's not that we're indecisive, but we just see goods and bads to both sides, and we want to understand both situations rather than only going to one side.
Yeah, I think one of the, like, it was like a quote or something I heard. I think it was about like in reference to debate, but I feel like it works for everywhere. It's like you should never debate a topic unless you can debate your opponent's standpoint better than they can. Like, unless you know their position better than they do, because obviously then like that's how you're really going to make changes. Like, hey, I completely understand like where you're coming from, and I see all this. This is just my perspective. But if you don't even take the time to entertain that stuff, one, you're not going to know what they have to say. So if you ever try to debate them and then they come up with something that you didn't know about, then you look like a fool. But
Right.
also, I feel like you'd also want them to extend the same decency to you. Like, you just assume like, all right, I know that I'm trying to make the world a better place, and I'm going to assume that you're also trying to make the world a better place. And so when we approach this, we are literally both on the same side, but just I think this is the solution, you think this is the solution. Let's talk about it and see what in the end feels like it could be better.
Yeah.
I don't think that it has to be so polarizing and so you're the enemy and I am the righteous savior and you suck.
Yeah, it's so immediately divisive trying to find a common ground. Like, the common ground feels like it's a whole other planet. To like, you got this planet and you got this planet, you got this planet. When we're all just trying to be happy, man. We're just trying to make other people happy, have us be happy and comfortable, and all that good stuff. Why? So, for example, let's talk about something unserious. Maybe like iPhone and Android, okay? This one's a little hot topic, but it's not that bad. So
I love.
so Ryan actually used to work through Apple and like did Apple stuff, and he's pretty Apple savvy. And
I worked at the bar. Yeah.
yeah, you worked at Genius Bar, and I am not smart in that capacity. I I had an Android. My first phone ever was a Droid, and then I think I got an iPhone 4, and then I loved iPhones, and then I went back to Samsung, and then a Samsung S7 Edge freaking burned my ear because it overheated. So then I called them and said, "Hey, I want a new phone," and they're like, okay." So they gave me like a half a discount, and I got an iPhone 8, and then I kept going. But I've always been like, for a long time, I was like, oh, Apple sucks, and they don't care about their customers, blah blah blah. But Ryan's like, no, like they care a lot about their customers. They care a lot about their products. They're really like intentional with what they do. But I was so biased towards my point that I couldn't even listen to a great friend of mine saying something very like wholeheartedly. Like he's not even saying like you're wrong, this is right. He's saying, "Nah, man, like it's pretty nice. I would say like you should reconsider your point because they're pretty great." And I was like, "No, I can't be wrong because I'm right." And all that stuff. And Ryan opened up my mind to like rethink about my point because I was like, you know what? I think I'm being really stupid. I think I'm just hating a company because everybody else is hating a company. And you have stuff like that on the internet where people are like, "Oh, we hate that creator," or "Oh, we hate that streamer," or "Oh, we hate this because they did this one or two or three things that is just, oh man." And then your friend's like, "Oh, did you hear about who so and so doing this?" "No, I didn't. But that sounds effed up. I'm never gonna be a fan of them." And it spreads like that. Like there's no strong choice of like I'm not gonna watch them because of these reasons because objectively it's wrong, not subjectively. So it's a lot of just the word for it, guys, is called confirmation bias. You could look it up on whatever. YouTube actually has a great 5-minute video if you just look it up. It's the first one, and it talks about this concept of there's a caveman who is steering a huge elephant below him, and the elephant is your unconsciousness, and then your driver is your consciousness. So your consciousness says, "I'm going to make this decision, I'm going to make this decision, whatever." But then the elephant's like, "Ooh, watermelon," and goes that way, So your biased opinion is your unconsciousness. Your biased opinion is your unconscious. Your biased opinion, or your unbiased opinion may be in your head, but your biased opinion is what's being steered because it's the elephant. So like what I said before with Apple, I'm saying to myself, Apple, or my unconsciousness is saying it's a bad company, but then I'm saying no, consciously I'm going, no, it's a bad company because of these things. But my unconscious kind of is steering me towards that kind of stuff and just thinking about only that.
Well, it's like I think it's kind of like if you, for like that example, if all you do is, let's say you're scrolling through a bunch of articles, and there could be like 5 articles that say like, "Oh, Apple is so good, they donated to these people," and then you see that one like, "Oh, Apple hates their customers, they're making their phones die." You're like, "Ooh, I want to click on that one."
That's the one I'm
And
going to
then
share on Facebook.
and you're like, "Wow, yeah, see, look, this is exactly what I thought. I knew it. I knew I was right because I read that article." And you totally skipped everything else because you're drawn towards things that you're already drawn to.
Yeah.
But one thing, like, because I remember that conversation that we had about phones, I feel like one of the big things that I feel like helped in that conversation that we had was, I don't think I ever said that you were wrong or that Android sucked in that conversation. Like,
Yeah,
because
never.
and I don't think Android sucked. I honestly someday, like, I would like to get like a cheaper, like an Android phone to have as like a secondary backup phone if anything ever happened to my iPhone. Like, I have literally no problem with it.
Yeah.
I don't right now because that's too much money to have.
Yeah, it's way too much. You're like, oh, I'll just get an extra $1,000 phone just for fun.
Yeah, but like, because I thought about like, oh, like what if you got like a phone like that that's like maybe a little less expensive, a little less nice, and then you just set it up with like a just cheap like talk and text plan, and you just like kept it in your car with like full battery or something, and like a little extra. So like if you ever got stranded somewhere and your phone died, like you have this other like way to contact someone for like I feel like that's a good idea. And maybe I don't need to spend over $1,000 on that phone, you know? That's totally fine. I feel like they all, each type of phone has their use for, what you want. Like that's why I feel like there's literally kind of we're saying like there's benefits to both phones. It's just like what you like more, you
Yeah.
know? And but I feel like that's like the important thing is like I never tried to like attack you or like make you feel bad
Not
for
at all.
your opinions. I was just like, hey, I totally hear that. Like I think that a lot of like how things are perceived comes across that way. This is an experience I had working at the company, realized like, like what I had like 2 months of training. Like I've never had another company that trained me for 2 months because they said, we want you to feel so confident once you go out on the floor on yourself that like you don't feel like you just got thrown into the deep end. Like we want you to feel like really secure about it
That's
because
really cool.
you feel secure, then you're going to treat the customers better. And, then obviously like, then it's going to like go full circle around. And like, they'd have like the executives and stuff who'd like come in sometimes and they're like, I envy you guys so much. We're like, yeah, okay, you're the exec, like whatever, you envy us. They're like, no, like you get to see the people that get to use our products every day. Like I wish I had the time like to just sit and talk with the people who actually get to use these things every day. Like I feel like it would be so fun and you guys get to do that. And that like totally just shifted how I like, I was like, oh, I forgot my password or oh, I broke my screen again. I'm like, oh, again, great. Let me help. To like wow, like this is so cool. Like I'm just meeting all these people like in my community that I would have never met otherwise. And I get to just, be like a part of their day that just like gets to make their day a little bit better. And
Yeah.
like I've been given opportunities where I feel like I'm pretty tech savvy and I know how these things work really well. And I know a lot of people have so many other things that they're focusing on that they cannot put any time into learning how what it means to triple click the home button and
Right.
like what kind of cool things that can do for you. But like they just come in, I'm like, oh here, like let me fix this. By the way, did you know this really cool trick? And like I feel like those little interactions like it made my job working easier and I feel like I got to make more people's day. And it's like and it's all because I knew that I had managers in a company that like believed in me and supported me and so I felt like I could just be myself and like support others. And so it's like that's an experience that I've had at Apple and you're like, "Oh,
Oh,
that doesn't
that
match
doesn't
with what
sound like the Apple that I was thinking of. There
interesting."
must be
But
another company named Apple.
yeah. You were actually working for Banana. I could have said like Peter or anything, but
Banana phone.
oh,
Oh man, we're so old.
yeah. But yeah, I feel like that's definitely like there was a book I was reading, and one of the things in it was saying like if you ever talk to somebody, if you're ever in a position where you're like quote unquote right and they're wrong, like the best way to like make a good relationship with them is to give them like an out. So like don't say like, haha, you're wrong, I was right.
Yeah, yeah.
Say like,
Yeah,
oh
I get
hey,
that.
that's totally understandable. Like honestly, like if you just look at like the articles that are posted all the time, like a lot of them are hating on Apple because they're a big company and it's kind of easy to hate them. And so it's like, yeah, it's like I totally understand. Don't worry, you're not at fault at all. Like this, and then like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, you're right. I didn't do anything wrong. I feel good. Why do I feel good? I don't know. This person makes me feel good. I'm gonna talk with them more.
Yeah. And you're having
I
a
feel like
discussion, you're not having an interrogation.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I love. I think there's another topic which I feel like I don't know this. Some people think this is a hot button topic. Apparently, I thought it was a joke for the longest time. The whole like the flat Earth stuff.
Oh yeah, like I think it's super funny, but people are like super sensitive about it. Like, stop that.
So, fun
It's
fact: I will not play names, but I actually had a friend who was seriously considering it.
oh no.
Like, who seriously thought, well, because they were just like they would watch like videos that fell into like a confirmation bias, and like, but what if all the pictures are fake? And also, like when I look outside, it looks flat. So like that makes sense to like my senses. And I remember I wanted to just like laugh like, huh, you're dumb. That's wrong. But I was like, I mean, I guess I've never done anything to like verify that for myself, I guess.
True, true.
And so I literally like I remember I spent I think like 6 months or something, like a long time, like just going hard into like trying to like essentially trying to understand exactly what it was that like makes people like think that,
Mm.
and then like what they do to justify it.
Wow.
And
Damn.
then like I tried to like honestly believe like with all my heart like told myself like like literally open my mind like what if this was possible, like what it would look like, and like and try to really understand. I'd watch like debates and all this stuff, um and then I didn't make a decision until like 6 months later when I was like, okay, all right, I've now like done all this research. I have all these logical fallacies that are used and all these things that I've tried to like, like test that you can do yourself, and I've tried to see like, okay, how could you do this test and like make it prove like a flat earth or something, and like try to do them myself and everything. And I'm like, all right, no, I've come to the conclusion now officially that I can officially say that I know the earth is a sphere, you know.
Yeah.
But like I didn't want to just assume it, and I tried to do my absolute best to like look at it from that perspective and like try to understand, like I said, like try to understand that argument like better than they did.
Yeah.
And then when we talked again, I could be like, hey, so I was looking into that stuff, and this is some interesting things that I found, and I thought you would like this. Like, try out this photography test that you can do because we're both filmmaking people. Like, let's try this out, and then we can try and like, oh, that's interesting. Looks like the sun doesn't change size, so it must be really far away. Like just like a bunch of stuff like that. But I was pretty proud, like just in the fact that I'm like I spent so much time listening to so many debates and doing so much like experiments and all this stuff. I'm like, and I feel like I learned so much about like math and trigonometry and like physics and how stuff works. Like, I feel like I actually like learned stuff still about how the Earth really does work. So it was a fun experience.
Guys, I don't know how else to tell you Ryan's a cool person, but he just told it out of his own mouth how cool he is. The fact that he did something like that. I'm gonna be super honest, I don't think I could ever do something like that. I would give up midway through to be like, no, I know these guys are complete morons. Like, why am I even wasting my time? But Ryan here is like, not only did I fully take the time to understand their point, but I actually learned other things that I was not expecting to learn. And I
I
think we
literally
all could learn from Ryan and do that. That's really cool.
I literally bought a trigonometry workbook. 'Cause I'm like, I feel like I need to understand the math better. And so I just started reteaching myself trigonometry, which is really fun.
That's really
I miss,
cool.
but it's interesting because it kind of goes into like what we were talking about earlier. Oh man, watching those debates was like fascinating and also so infuriating at the same time. Like, not because like, oh, I think that that person
Right, right.
is wrong, they're so stupid, but because I would literally watch them like talk at each other, and I'm like, you're not listening to what he's saying, and you're not listening to what he's saying,
Yeah.
and I think we actually agree on this point. And I just wanted to like pause, like, okay, this person is trying to say this, and they're trying to say this is my experience from this. You are trying to say this. Look, it's the same thing, or it's
Yeah.
like I just wanted to like mediate and like go in the middle. I'm like,
Like,
guys.
let's hug real quick, and then let's talk this. Let's bring it back. Let's have a conversation. Yeah,
Because
I
I
think that
think that
happens a lot.
I heard this other. I hear a lot of like cool quotes from people. This is actually one I heard from Jessie from one of the books she read. The book asks like, what's the point of communication? And a lot of people say, oh, to get my point across. Like, no, that's not the point of communication. The point of communication is to understand how the other human that's across from you, how they think and feel about the world. And if you approach every conversation like, how can I better understand you by use of like my words and my actions and everything, versus like, how do I get my point across to them to make them think what I think? It's like a total shift in like how you view the conversations. Like, oh, my brain hurts.
Damn. I'm my brain is so relaxed now just thinking about that, cuz it's been very stressful for a while, and just thinking about like, hey man, like, it's all right. We're going to just let's just have a nice conversation about stuff and just hear what we're both thinking, and it's always so nice to talk to Ryan, and I'm glad that we were able to do a podcast and be able to talk about whatever, and hopefully we'll get to do more in the future because I really like talking and hanging out with Ryan.
I like talking and hanging out too. Just maybe not when it's like 97 degrees outside.
Oh my God, it's so hot. Okay,
Ugh.
I'm not gonna start another point. It's already we have a long podcast here, so I want to say thank you for all of you that have been watching the podcast and enjoying them, and I will look forward to seeing you and our new special guest in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.
Want me to do the outro?
Oh yeah, you want to do it? Do it. Go, do it.
Thank you for listening to the ToneTone podcast.